Epictetus delivered some fantastic wisdom about navigating races where one becomes the game changer, confronting personal hurdles, resisting the temptation to opt out, and grappling with the allure of lounging on the couch. This is where the real grind happens, the daily race vibe, you know? It's effortless for individuals to slip into that cozy groove. The environment is crafted to sidestep challenges and embrace the convenience of things. However, life doesn't concern itself with personal comfort. Sooner or later, it throws a curveball. Stoics, throughout history, have demonstrated a mastery of this resilience game. Stoics recognize that excessive comfort is akin to slow decay. It may feel pleasant, but one is deteriorating internally. Seneca passionately advocated for embracing challenging times, preparing for the unpredictability of life. The lesson from Stoicism: embrace the uncomfortable. It's the undercover formula for personal growth. No one springs out of bed at the crack of dawn, not even Marcus Aurelius. In Meditations, he spills the beans on the struggle of leaving that warm cocoon. He poses the question to himself: is this all he's here for? To cuddle up and feel nice? Stoics, with their duty-bound ethos, viewed mornings as prime time for action. They aimed to be early birds, owning up to the challenge and pushing through the grogginess. This warrior spirit serves as the playbook for all the successful individuals out there, writers, artists, and creators living the hustle. No procrastination or easing into things for Stoics. Nope, he's like, hit the hard thing head on. In their morning routine, writing takes the spotlight before diving into emails, getting lost in social media, or drowning in meetings. Edison had it right: grab the heavy end first. Following this rule sets the vibe for the day. Even if the momentum fizzles out, they've already bagged a win by tackling the tricky task. Morning mantra: rock the hard thing first. Marcus Aurelius, in Meditations, drops a truth bomb, no complaining, not even to oneself. He's onto something, differentiating between taking action and just venting. Venting won't solve a thing. It's like shouting into the void. Instead, they kick off their morning reflecting, finding their center, and plotting out the day. Oh, and zero phone time for the first hour, keeping focus and intention intact. One golden rule: no phone action for the first hour. Email, the never-ending to-do list cooked up by others, can throw off the day with its drama. They're all about thoughtful actions, planning, and setting intentions before plunging into the email chaos. Now, when folks catch wind that they're a runner, they drop the marathon question: training for a marathon? Nah, not them. They're gearing up for the everyday marathon. It's about running when they'd rather not, when they're dragging in the freezing cold or sweltering heat. Seneca's got it down: treat the body right to keep it in sync with the mind. It's all about training those muscles, literally and metaphorically, to tackle the day-to-day marathon called life. They're getting the hang of pushing themselves, aiming for excellence from within. The ultimate race, you know. It's like a friendly competition with themselves, battling that inner voice that says, nah, not today. And if there's any competition, it's against those folks who are sticking to the couch. Epictetus is their guide. They run races where being a champ is totally up to them. It's a race against themselves, against that feeling of putting things off, against the urge to Netflix and chill. This is where they challenge themselves and throw down every single day. Saying no ain't a walk in the park, but it's like Marcus says, when they turn down the non-essential, they're giving a big old thumbs up to the important stuff. It's a double win. Saying no is saying yes, and saying yes is saying no. They're pushing themselves physically, mentally, and spiritually for a reason. In life's pop quizzes, they know what they're made of and what they can tap into. That's why they're all about shaking things up in their routine. Marcus talks about washing off the dust of everyday life, like those ancient Romans with their cool bathhouse routines. And trust them, there's no zoning out when they're in that cold plunge zone. It's hands down one of the best calls they make every day. They might bump into some characters, obnoxious, silly, jealous, the whole crew, just like Marcus points out in his famous meditations. It's not about being negative or hating on others, it's just being real about the potential hurdles. So here's the deal with that quote. The juicy part comes next. He's like, look, it's not their fault. They're not experts in good versus evil, right versus wrong, or a better way. And then he drops this gem. Nobody can pin him down for being ugly. He's all about teamwork, not ditching folks just because they're a bit annoying or obnoxious. Yep, Marcus is prepping himself for the quirks of dealing with people, but it's a cool exercise. If one strolls around expecting everything to be rainbows and butterflies, there's a surprise waiting. But here's the kicker. That doesn't mean one gets a pass on teaming up with others, finding the good in them, and doing some good oneself. The first part of this exercise is all about that. Don't let anyone tell Stoicism is a bummer. It's way cooler than that. Whenever one hits a snag, one asks oneself, what can one pull off in this situation? What perks does one have? How can one make the most of it? What can one do that others won't bother with? Let's turn this around and make it something awesome. Forget pointing fingers or dwelling on what went south. Focus on making it work. All right, so it's not about getting all caught up in how much of a bummer or annoying the situation is. It's more like, all right, what can they do with this? How do they turn it around? Ego, yeah, it's not just a bit obnoxious or rude. It's the whole package of unpleasantness. The kicker is, it doesn't do anyone any favors, it actually makes them worse. Epictetus drops some wisdom, saying you can't learn a thing if you're convinced you already know it all. Ego's like quicksand. You think you're perfect, you stop improving. Now, take a page from Socrates' playbook, a humble dude who's all about what he doesn't know. They're on that self-improvement grind, focusing on areas to level up. And guess what? It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. They actively look for ways to get better and surprise. They become way more pleasant to be around. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, was into doing good without expecting a pat on the back. He's like, don't count on a parade for doing the right thing. They've already scored by doing what's right, feeling it within. The extra stuff, like someone giving them a shout-out or a thumbs up, is cool, but it ain't the driving force. Wanting that third thing, like hitting the bestseller list or getting a thank you card, isn't the Stoic way. Do it because it's right, and if the extra comes, cool beans. But don't go expecting it, as Seneca wisely points out. Expectations lead to letdowns and mess with the vibe. Seneca's dropping some real talk. What smacks them hard is what they don't see coming, what they didn't prep for, what they're avoiding thinking about. So, the Stoics are all about gearing up in advance. They're like, let's get ready to bounce back, plan for resilience so fate's blows don't hit them like a wrecking ball. And remember, it's all about perspective. If these Stoic principles resonated with you, let your voice be heard. Share your thoughts, your questions, your personal experiences in the comments below. Your feedback is like precious treasure, guiding the way towards even more meaningful content in the future. And if you enjoyed this delve into Stoicism, don't be shy. Hit that like button. It's a virtual high five, a silent cheer that says, bring on more wisdom nuggets. But the journey doesn't end here. To ensure you don't miss out on future explosions of wisdom, philosophy deep dives, and personal growth goldmines, hit that subscribe button. It's the golden ticket to staying connected, expanding your knowledge, and embarking on new adventures together.